Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to become a great basketball player. I'm Dr. Will Gray, and at 3Gen Sports Science and Physical Therapy, we do a lot of great things here. And one of the things that we do, we train for different sports. I don't mean just train by lifting weights, but I also mean skill training. And I get a lot of questions about what should someone do who's young, who's trying to be better at basketball, right? And try to be great at it. The one thing I can say, a lot of us are not as fortunate to be able to have access to people who do this game, at a high level. So a lot of times, what we don't realize is that what we actually are looking for is a foundation, right? How to start, and then the way to be able to focus on the actual things that are important. So in today's episode, we're going to cover some of those things. If you like what you're listening to, please like, follow, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. Turn on the notifications, and we'll be giving you more and more information on different topics that falls underneath the Sports Science Institute umbrella, as well as underneath our umbrellas within the physical therapy world too, when it comes to injury and return to sport. So let's get started. The three main focuses of this talk will be: first, what does the game of basketball look like now? Right. Second, how much time are you willing to give to basketball realistically? Third, politics of basketball. Now, let's get started with the first focus, the state of the game. This is something that I really try to drill into a lot of parents and players' heads because, truth be told, they're just looking at it from a standpoint of scholarship, which is fine, totally fine. But at the same time, when somebody's being trained or being worked with, you have to be accepting of what's occurring by knowing what's actually going on, right? So if you have a guard or a player that's 6'3", 6'4", and they're 12 years old, and you have somebody working with them on a jump shot, and you're like, well, they can't shoot. Yeah, they can't shoot now, but they need to shoot in 2, 3 years, right? Because this game is going to require this. So in order for them to be exceptional, if they can do this, this is something that can help them progress. So basically, the state of the game. What is in, right? What's the cool thing? It's pace and space. The quick game, very up and down plays, shooting is paramount. One-on-one skills is even more evident. Basketball IQ, in my opinion, is low. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that players don't know how to play. The majority of players don't really know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just playing, which is why the point of pace and space is super important. Have a quick pace. You don't think, you just react. And then the space allows you to be able to operate in your strength, whatever that may be. So this game is more up and down, right? I can honestly say this. If you were to go in a gym, right, and you had players who were, pretty good, right, who were young, correct? Because it's a young man's game. They can pretty much outdo a lot of guys who are a little bit older, maybe, with their athleticism. But then you get guys who are not, quote unquote, over the hill athletically, and they play against this same group of guys who are pretty good, great athletically, and all of a sudden they can't beat them. And it's because of how they're going to make them play. When you slow a game down or put the game in a half court deal or make it where your pace and space is not giving you what you want because somebody's making one person take the shot versus letting the best player to take the shot, right? What you're gonna realize that the IQ piece comes into play. And a lot of people struggle with that. So what's out? Inside out play, right? Post play, inside out play, players who are not versatile, that is gone. Now, I feel like this is coming back some, and I'll tell you why. Watch how Luka Doncic plays. Watch how Jason Tatum plays. Watch how a lot of guards play now. They are posting up a lot more, and in my opinion, that's very, very problematic for most guards in the game now because most guards post defense is atrocious, terrible. But inside out play is out right now. You only have a few bigs in the game who are in the paint, back to the basket guys, and they're not playing inside out. They're playing pace and space. They're playing kick threes. They're playing fast break, draw and kick. Like they're playing half court draw and kick, dribble drive, kick. Like it's not an inside out game in the sense of throwing the ball in the post or even getting to the basket. Really, it's not the game anymore. So what's coming? More perimeter oriented bigs And the return of the big guard. The return of the big guard. Guards are going to get a lot bigger. 6'6", 6'7", 6'5". The days of Trae Youngs and Stephs and all that, they're going to come to a halt. And I'm going to tell you why. Luka Doncic is super gifted. I'm using Luka as a great example because I can speak on his athleticism in comparison to his counterparts or his peers. And he's not the most athletic guy, right? His ability to be able to be bigger and understand how to use his size makes it where he is a difficult guard. He is going to get his. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you think it looks like. He's going to get his. He's going to take advantage of him being bigger. He's a guard. He's really a forward, but he's a point guard because of his play style. And you have to guard him with a point guard, which is why Boston was the only team to be able to have success against him because they have guards who can deal with him. But even then, he was still disruptive. I mean, he was still doing well. They just lost the finals. But the return of the big guards. Guards are going to get bigger, stronger. They're going to be a lot more of those post up type guards, those shifty like 6'6" guys who are like you're going to be incredibly out of pocket if you're smaller than that. And they're going to play target basketball. So they're going to play pace and space. But the return of the big guard, that's what's coming, right? Second, let's get to the other piece. The time investment, right? We know the state of the game. We know what's going on. So now we have to figure out how we want to invest our time into this. How do we want to actually push everything forward in order to make sure we capitalizing on what's coming? Number one, most parents and players want the results now. All right, let me get this said quickly. The results do not come quickly. This is about mathematics. It takes times. 3 months of full commitment will yield growth. 3 years will put them on track to greatness. I'm serious. It's a mathematic thing. If you don't believe me, go in the gym, right? Go in the gym. Tell me how many players do you see in the gym in your age group being there during the times of where real work happens? 8 a.m., 6 a.m., 12. You're going to realize there's not a lot of your teammates are actually in gyms putting time in. It's because of the fact that the reward they have now, there's really nothing pushing or making them do more. But even if they are not in the gym working, they've been playing for so long that the time vested is already in there. They've already invested years. They just invested years. They invested time over so many years that it's cumulative have given them the result they want. Now, how do you speed that up? Invest more time in a short period of time. Like for instance, right? If you go to the gym 4 hours a day, right? 2 hours for a session, come back put another 2 hours, right? During the summer. All right. Let's say that's 60 days. I mean, that's 60 days now. I'm not saying 90. That's 2 months, right? 4 hours a day, right? 30 days, 120 hours, correct? You do another 30 days, it's going to come out to 240 hours, right? Now watch this. If I do 2 hours a day, 2 hours a week to for a whole year, which is 52 weeks, I'm gonna have 104 hours. See how that works? If I do 4 hours a week for 4 weeks, I'm going to have 208 hours. It's mathematics. Talent speeds that up, obviously, because you have a certain talent threshold or level, so you can do a little more, get away with a little more, right? You can cut a couple corners because your athleticism do certain things that people athleticism want, but at the same time, the investment has to still be time. Can't skip steps. And I'm gonna say this right now: if you think you can go gym by yourself and get better, you are really disciplined. Because I guarantee you end up playing pickup with your friends, and you're better than them. They're terrible. You're not doing any move outside of what you can do to beat them with. You're really not pushing yourself. There's nothing going on that's productive to a point. So if you're in the gym by yourself, really working, you're very disciplined. You know exactly what you need to work on. Right? If you're lifting by yourself, doing all that, hey man, more power to you. But it's going to take years to really achieve what you're looking for, which is an improvement in your athlete, right? But if you were to crunch that into months, you can speed up the process. Now, invest in your player/player invest in themselves, right? What do you want out of the game? That's the question you have to ask, like when you're doing this as a parent and a player. What do you want out of it besides a scholarship? Like, yeah, we're gonna get paid, get a scholarship. What do you want out of it? Who you doing it for? For you? How much you like it? Now, if you kind of like it, you have some success. But seriously, like you got to ask yourself those questions. What do you want out of this game? You know, like I can use myself as an example. When I played because I just wanted to prove something to me. Right? 'Cause basketball was not my most gifted sport. I feel like I had my run and did some great things, and improve some things for sure. But basketball is not my best sport. It wasn't when I was started. It became, one of the better sports I could play. It took time, but what I wanted to do is prove that I could do it. For me, because what you have to realize is that scholarship highlights, NBA fame, money, those are good goals, but something else has to carry you. There has to be something else. Sometimes it's parents driving you, sometimes it is. And sometimes it's just the fact that you do want to make money. That's the only driver you need to make money. But let's be honest here. It is not going to keep you going if you don't have a desire to do it. Like for real. Like people talk about, man, when when your refrigerator is empty, right? And you got to get basketball to get you where you're going, you tend to do a little more. Right? What's the motivation? Putting food in your stomach, right? But you have to invest time/money to get the above. You have to have a purpose, a reason. It does not happen fast. It doesn't, man. It takes legit time. If you don't put that time in, it's not the game for you. It's just not, right? Now let's go to the third part, the politics of basketball. And I'm pretty sure when I had this title come up, everybody was like, "Man, he's gonna teach you some skills, how to dribble, how to shoot." Nah, I think there's enough videos out there that do that. I'm going to try to give you something a little bit more tangible. The politics of basketball, right? In this day and age of basketball, you have a lot of teams and circuits. There's no such thing as AAU anymore in the sense of everybody plays on the same amateur athletic union circuit. They just don't. You have to go to so many different circuits, and that's about money. There's a lot of hype versus substance. A lot of people are playing at these high profile schools. They're playing against nobody and they're doing a lot of minimal things that are not advancing their game really, but they're winning. They're being on the team with guys who quote unquote are the same in sense of like the high profile guys. And then the accolades versus attributes, right? You have a lot of people who have a lot of accolades, but don't have any really legit attributes. For instance, I know some people who are Gatorade players of the state who I can honestly say were not the best player in the state. Just wasn't close. People will argue that. That's cool. I'm in Mississippi. I watch enough basketball from top to bottom in this state. Trust me, basketball politics are really bad here. Really bad here. I really believe that. And it's because for me, I think it's more about the fact that there's nobody who's covering the sport in high school enough or on the circuit who's talking enough. Everybody has a bias. And a bias that is can't be controlled. Now, much is given too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't mind anybody being given opportunities. I have no issue with that. A lot of people are given opportunities. A lot of people are not given opportunities just because of who you know, and that's kind of the game right now. For some people, may think it sucks, but it's a game. So not all hard work is rewarded. Sometimes, man, you keep getting the no button, and it's not really you. It's just not in the right space, right? Some talent is not talent. Sometimes a little bit fugazi, a little spooky. Look real grayish area. I've seen some pretty awesome athletes, but I haven't seen really um, great basketball players in abundance in high school, which actually has made me start watching a lot of high school games. Recently, this year, I'm gonna get back into it a little bit. And when I say that, I'm just speaking about my sake. And what I mean by that is that if somebody can dunk a basketball, for some reason, they're great now. I have no issue with them dunking the basketball, but I mean that's not. Let's be honest here, guys. That's not going to be enough to get you where you want to go. And being recognized and or associated with the people, right? The brain trust, the people, the politicians in the sport of basketball, the people who know people that know people, right? Being aligned with them is kind of a lot of things you just have to do. I'm gonna say this, and people are not gonna like when I say this. There are some teams, especially in this state, who do their kids a disservice when it comes to summer ball. And there's a lot of people in the organization who get paid to do it, which is fine, man. It's about money. I don't really have an issue with that. Get paid, whatever. But it's not the kids are not getting the opportunities they should get. And then you have people who legitimately can't play, who are being thrust in front of people, and it's embarrassing for the state. And I know I'm on my little soapbox about basketball here, but I'm trying to use that as a way to be able to get people to understand that there's a lot of politics, and you kind of have to weed through that because what happened and saying what to do, right? What to do and what happened. Simple. Like the game became watered down a little bit, and the money got involved. The shoes, the Adidas, the Nike caps, all that mess got involved, and it trickled to a place where you're not gonna get all the best players all the time. You're not gonna get the players who are quote unquote, legit as much as you normally would have, probably back in some earlier drafts. And it's because of that. Like it's just the money. So you gotta play the game both ways. I mean, you gotta work on your game, right? Try to get better, but try to get into these circles. But have some tangible things, right? Be able to play, man. Like if you're able to play, you're gonna stand out. For real, for real. Like you're going to stand all the way out. Join the politics, understand them, who are the big players, who are the people you need to know. Join the politics, and handle it the best way you can. Hope you have somebody to guide you. And again, actually work on your game. You gotta work on your game, man. Like it is is only some of the opportunities you're gonna get to be able to prove it. So if you get in with the right people and then you get on the circuit or you get on whatever and you can't play for real, that can be a little, it's gonna be not good. Like they're gonna get you out of there. And then be ready, man. Like some people who are not ready. You want to be great at basketball, but you're just not ready. I'm gonna give you a story, and I'm gonna get out of here on this. I was working with a kid one time about 2 years ago. Excuse me, taking a drink of water, and we were working, and they play guard. They're guard, and I'm actually really involved in the drill with my young guys. I don't really sit on the side and keep my shoes, off, whatever. No, I have my gear on. We're playing ones. We're going at it. We really are going at it. And the reason for that, because basketball has to be played also, all right, in a certain type of environment. It has to be played. But we're working on our game. I'm working with them, and I realize that they have work to do, like a bunch of work to do. And a lot of it is that they really think they're better than what they are, so their brain can't turn off to be basically taught something, right? So you know what you have to do, man. Anybody from the old school back in the day, how I grew up, you just have to roll the ball out and let's go ahead and get this out the way, right? And I found out something about them that I didn't expect. It was really disappointing. And what I found out after we had a pretty intense session is that their confidence was the issue, and they did not want to hear someone else teach them the game because they really didn't believe in what they were doing. They just wanted to get on the court and play and start to say they played and started, but they didn't really have a legit confidence. So it was never about getting better. It was about I just want to be in a place of validation and get validation. I was like, oh, you don't need me for validation. You can stay on the team and be a senior, and you'll start eventually. They're starting now, right? And I'm happy they're starting. Like it does not do me any type of gain or make me feel great because they don't start. No, I want them to play. The problem though is that they are getting their minutes taken away by underclassmen who are 3, 4 years younger than them. So they're starting, but they're not playing the whole game. And it's been very eye opening for them. And they realize that it's too late now, right? But now their confidence is really teeter tottering, and it's almost like drowning in quicksand. My point of this story is that you can learn from everyone. Everybody you encounter, you can learn something. And when it's time to be ready, you have to be ready to play. You have to be able to play. You only get a handful of opportunities in this game to prove your value and your worth. That's especially in college, with the transfer portal being a thing, and especially in the NBA. Like you're gonna get one opportunity really, even if you get drafted first round before they kind of move off you. So you really get an opportunity to prove it. All right, you have to prove it, and that's hard. All right. But anyway, with that being said, guys, this is the end of the talk. For everybody who stayed around to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you guys for tuning into these videos. I love the presentation style when I'm doing what I'm doing, just because of the fact that it allows me to be able to talk about points versus just looking at me talk. I like to be able to put things in front of people where they can revert back to, screenshot it, and all that and use it. So like, share, subscribe, check our website out, check out our social media. This is our Instagram link. I didn't put it there, but this is at 3Gen Physical Therapy. And like I said, we're a physical therapy clinic. We specialize in sports science for return to sport, but also, for skills progression also. But man, I want to just, like I said, say again, thank you all so much. I really thank you for pressing play. And I hope you have a blessed one, and I'll catch you in the next one.